if you're not in that right mood, don't force yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm actually listening to myself for once. So that's Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of yet another weekly vlog, and this week I must read Electra by Jennifer Saint. This is a reread, but this is a book club pick that I'm part of on Instagram. I mentioned this last week, and yeah, I haven't started it and I'm meant to be finishing it. I'm pretty sure it's this week. Need to get on and read this one. I'm really excited to do a reread of this. This is Greek mythology. We're following 3 women. We've got Clytemnestra, who was Helen's sister, her daughter Electra, and then we have Cassandra, who is Paris's sister. So this is all concerning to do with the Battle of Troy, just before it, and then the aftermath of everything. It's a really powerful story. I really enjoyed my first read of this, so I'm really pleased that I get to reread and annotate it. But yes, I actually need to do that. However, I am at work for the next 3 days, so I will be picking up an ebook, but I don't know what one, so I thought we could have a little look through together. I don't have anything I need to read, so this is very much going to be a mood read pick. We have a dark romance, which is Brutal Prince. This one's been going around a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm in a dark romance mood though, to be fair. We do have the London Seance Society, and this is by Sarah Penner. This one I've been hearing some really good things. Bit of a murder mystery, I think, but set in like a Victorian setting. So that one could be a good one. We also have She Who Became the Sun. This is a fantasy, and I believe it's a retelling of Mulan in a way. So that one could be really good. That one could be a good shout, actually. Otherwise, I've got some cozy mysteries, not cozy mysteries, cozy fantasy, The Wizard's Butler. Or I've got some more Greek mythology, but I think because I'm already reading one, I don't want to read any more Greek mythology. I could continue a series, because I have started the Daughter of No Worlds series by Carissa Broadbent, so I could do that and continue on with that, read book 2 in that series. I honestly thought I was going to pick the London Seance Society, but I'm actually thinking either She Who Became the Sun or the second book in the Carissa Broadbent series. This one is Children of Fallen Gods. That would be the second book. They're both about wars. One's a bit more well known because She Who Became the Sun was very much talked about when it first came out. I haven't seen many people talking about it since though. Maybe I'll put a poll up. I do have a few hours before I need to be at work. I've got 4 hours before I'm at work, so maybe I'll put a poll up and we'll just see by the time I start work which one has won out of those two. I think they're both going to be really good picks. Not what I thought I was going to pick, but there we go. So that's it. That's the start of this week. We're going to be starting an ebook. We're going to be having my physical book. Definitely got to get this one read. I hope you're all doing really well. Let me know what you've been up to, been reading, what you've been doing lately, all of those things. But yeah, that's it. We're having a nice chill reading week, I think. I mean, if I can get Electra finished early, still got 4 books left on my May TBR after Electra. So it's got quite a bit to get through, but 2 of them are short, quick reads. So maybe I'll try and get one of those done this week as well. But I do also have a classic and a sci-fi romance, so I really am actually feeling the sci-fi romance, but I can't get distracted because I need to read Electra. So that's the first thing, and then we'll see what we get done, and depending on how long of the week we've got left will depend on what I pick up, whether it's going to be a short book or a bigger book. We'll see. For now though, I need to edit last week's vlog, then maybe even start Electra like I've been meaning to for ages. That would be smart. Friday, I had a bit of a shelf reorganisation before work. I ended up with a lot of books for my birthday that I ended up buying, and my partner bought me some. All of that is in the previous week's vlog at the very end. I did the haul for my birthday. Yeah, we needed to reorganise and rejiggle things about. So now my manga shelf is here. I am at the point where books are spilling out everywhere. I've got them on top of my wardrobe. All 3 bookcases are as full as to all the shelves that I can reach. I actually have 3 shelves that I can't use on my bookshelves, which is really frustrating. 1, because one of the shelves are missing, so 2 automatically can't be used for that, and the last one is at the very bottom and my bed covers it and I can't get to it. So if it wasn't for that, I would actually have enough space for all my books. But we are getting to the point where I am running out of room. I may have to start a stack on my floor, or maybe like rejig things around on my dresser and have like a stack of books going up here. Probably the safer bet, because I don't want my books to get damaged. Side tangent that you didn't need, and my battery is already flashing at me, so we're gonna see how this goes. That was what I spent my morning doing before heading off to work. However, I did start a little bit of Electra, which kind of matching. I'm up to chapter 4, page 35. So I really only barely started this book, and can we just take a moment to appreciate these end pages? Absolutely love it. So the first 30 pages, we're just having the setup of our 3 main characters who I've already spoken about, and you're hearing the start where Clytemnestra is getting married. You're seeing how her and Helen having the big event that took place for Helen's wedding. Also have a little bit of Cassandra's perspective from when she's a child, when she's hearing about this prophecy around her brother Paris, and the prophecy is he is going to bring fire to Troy, that things are all going to get burned down and it's going to be because of him. That's what we're up to. It's just kind of establishing the history and what is going to be leading up to everything that happens in this book, and I think it's quite good. I like the writing style, I really like Jennifer Saint's writing style, and that's it. I don't have much more to say because it is only 30 pages, it is only setting up the story. So this is quite a good one that if you don't know Clytemnestra's story, if you don't know Cassandra's story, this is a really good one for just explaining all of that. It does it lightly, it doesn't go into details such as like Helen's parentage, things like that. It just has like a few sentences here and there to cover it, but this story is mainly about Clytemnestra's wrath and the things that happen later down the line and the effects that it has on Electra and how Cassandra's caught up in it all. Having quite a nice, just touched upon so that you get enough history to understand what's going on, but it's not too much to take away from the main characters. I think it's done well. I like it. I'm not sure if I'm going to tab it. I really thought I was going to tab and annotate it, but these 30 pages, like the first lot, I haven't really annotated anything. I want to, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to hopefully try and get another hour's worth of reading in, so hopefully we can get a good 60 pages further in. I did, however, start an ebook while I was at work, and as we know, I had the 2 that I was deciding between. So I started work at 3:30, so I put the poll up. It was only for a few hours. At 3:30, we were at 50-50, so that wasn't helpful at all, but I decided to go with continuing a series rather than starting a whole new series. I was like, you know what, don't want to do that today. I went with Children of Fallen Gods, and this is by Carissa Broadbent. I really do like this one. I forgot how much I really enjoyed the first book. It's really interesting. I think it's really well written. It's all available on Kindle Unlimited. In the first book, we have 2 perspectives. One that you start off with is Tasana, and Tasana is a dancer. She's a slave. She has a really horrible life. When she was a child, her homeland was invaded. Her parents were taken to be worked to death in the mines, but she managed to convince them to take her. Her mother also helped with that, and so as much as her life is still dreadful, at least she's not being worked to death in the mine. And her master says, if you raise this much money, I'll set you free. So then Tasana spends the next 8 to 10 years doing exactly that. But when she then goes to her master, giving him all this money, he flies into a rage, absolute rage, and she barely escapes with her life. And so she then runs off to this other country, and she is going to them, it's called Ara, is expecting them to help her to come back and set these slaves free. She's got so much hope for them as a people. She's heard such good things, but when she gets there, they're not interested in helping her at all. They're like, oh well, we'll help you if you can get through this training, because she has this like magical ability, and so she has to be trained. Enter our second point of view, which is Max, and he was someone that was a part of the army for these people, but something absolutely horrendous happened and he wants nothing more to do with it. But eventually he relents and starts training Tasana, and you get their love story blossoming, and you also get the really difficult choices that are being made, because Tasana is determined to go and save the rest of the people that she's left behind. To do this, she has to strike up a bargain, which she works for them for 5 years, and in return she has to take on this spirit type thing that amplifies her power 1,000-fold, but is really, really dangerous and can quickly spiral out of control. And they've said, well, if you look after us for 5 years, work for us, do all the things that we want you to do, fight our wars, then in return we will go and we will save your people. So it's a really horrible situation, and Tasana's really dealing with like, how far will you go to save the people you love? So I find that really interesting. And the second book is taking place after this big battle event that happened in the first book, and it takes place straight after it. I like the way it does the recaps though. It's nice and like put in throughout the story rather than like info dumped on you, so I really appreciate that. And we're also getting a third perspective in there, which is Aphie. She is a fae. I didn't realise fae were a part of this world, but they are. And she was a princess, but she got disowned by her own family because of this ability that she has, because the fae also have certain magic. Her magic, she is tainted, and so she's not allowed to be in the line of succession anymore, and so she instead is training to be like this bodyguard, like elite warrior type thing for the royal family that she used to be a part of. But something massive happens in the Fae where humans manage to all but eradicate one particular house of elves, which they cannot believe because humans have always been weaker than Fae, so why has this happened? And that's where that storyline is. So I'm really intrigued to see how that perspective ties into the other two and the things that are happening. Tasana's really facing some horrible decisions at the minute. I really like it. It's very morally grey and nothing is actually good. You're really learning that war is just a perspective as to who's right and wrong, and the victors write the history books, so I like it. I really like that, the way it is. I am on, what chapter did I get to? Chapter 20. So I'm on page 170. There is 630 pages in this book. Obviously I don't know whether that's different for Kindle to the actual book, I'm not sure. I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to continue that for the next couple of days at work. I'm really excited to see where it's going, and this is a series I do want to get physical copies of eventually because I think it is a really good series. I would highly recommend. It's not one that I see many people talking about, but I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's well crafted, and I like all the intricacies of character development and really having to question your morals. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good. So that is where we're up to. As for today, I need to do some food shopping because I have run myself low of everything, so we need to go and do that, and then that's it actually. So it's just food shopping and then probably reading Electra and working. So I will catch up with you shortly, but let's go do some food shopping. And yeah, I'm enjoying these two books. I think it's a good mix and two very different writing styles, so I'm enjoying that. Whereas Jennifer Saint's a bit more like lyrical, whereas Chris Broadbent is just more of like the epic fantasy writing style, which probably isn't very helpful. I'm rambling. Let's go. Good morning. So I had no rings on. 2 seconds, hold that thought. Okay, rings are wrong and you're now zoomed out a little bit, so that's a bit better. I've had some book mail and I do believe I'm meant to be getting some more today, my mum said, as part of my 30th birthday present. She's already got me a voucher, which is absolutely amazing because that's what I asked for, and she's also got me some books. So one of the books arrived yesterday and this is The Nesting, and this is by C.J. Cook. This is a book that was recommended to me by a friend at work. She said that she really enjoyed this and that it was based on some folklore, she thought, and that she really liked it. It was really quite eerie and atmospheric, and as soon as she said those words, that was it. It was on my wish list. I don't know too much about this one because that's all I went off, but on the back it says, "A house stands alone in the woods. Deep in the forests of Norway, Lexi finds a fresh start with Tom and his 2 young daughters working as their new nanny. The darkness creeps closer. But Lexi is telling lies, and she's not the only one. This family has a history and this place has a past. Something was destroyed to build this house, and in the dark, dark woods a menacing presence lurks." Sounds really good, really spooky. So yeah, very, very excited with this one, and I actually really like the orange text. That's not something I see often and I think it really works. So yeah, this is amazing. So very happy with that. So thank you again, Mum. For reading updates. So as we know, I'm meant to be reading Electra and I did read a bit more. I've got up to part 2, which I've always enjoyed the way that we have artwork for each of the parts to let us know what's going to happen. So I'm on page 105 and I am enjoying it. However, I'm really struggling with this one and I think it's just my headspace isn't in the right space to deal with this book. There's a lot of darker things that happen. There's a lot of difficulties between Electra and Clytemnestra and difficulties in that relationship, and I just don't want to deal with the family toxicity right now. And normally that sort of thing doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not normally the sort of person to be bothered by a content of a book. At the minute I'm really like, you know what, this is putting me in a funk and I don't want to read it. So I'm going to give it a break. I didn't read any of it yesterday and I felt a lot happier with not doing that. So I think I'm going to leave this one until next week. A lot of people in the book club are waiting until the end of the month to read it anyway because they've got like exams and finals and stuff. So I think I'm going to wait and give myself the rest of the week off. Yeah, I'm going to put this one down. And sometimes that's okay. It's okay to put down a book because you're not in that mood to read it right now. Like, I know I like this book, so it's not to do with not liking the book. It's just, if you're not in that right mood, don't force yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm actually listening to myself for once. So that's what I'm going to do. I will pick up a different physical book. Like I mentioned at the start of this vlog already, I think I've got 2 shorter reads. So I'm thinking to pick up one of those and read that for the next couple of days because I'm off for today and tomorrow. So I think I'm just going to relax and read that. I also have another video that I'm working on, which is going to be in the works for a little while. And the book I'm reading for that is, oh my god, it's so good. I'm loving it so much. So I think I'm gonna work on a smaller book for this video and make my way through more of that book because that is life. At the minute I'm loving it so much. I constantly think about it. I'm really excited for you to see that video. That won't be out for a little while yet, so sorry about that. Bit of a tease going on there. However, my ebook that I'm reading, Children of Fallen Gods, oh my god, this book, I am loving it so much. So I'm on chapter 67 and that's page 487 out of 630. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so we've finally seen how the third perspective matches up to our other 2 main characters, and oh my gosh, the plot twist, I was blown away. I loved it. Did I start to see it coming? Did I start to see the inklings? Yes. But it did not take away from the fact that when I learned it, I was like mind blown. Loved it. It was so good. It was so good, and it makes you feel so sad for someone in particular, and it's just amazing. I loved it so much, in case you can't tell. I really do enjoy this series. It's so good. It is independently published, and you know what, if I was being nitpicky, which of course I am, there is a couple of things here and there that I know an editor would go, maybe rearrange this word sentence, like this sentence structure, or maybe take this descriptive bit out because we don't actually need it. But that I don't care. The story, the world that's built, the characters, everything is so good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. It's fantastic. It's so easy to read and yet it captures me so well, and I just, yeah, loving it. I know that when I finish this ebook, I'm probably going to pick up the third one straight away because I'm enjoying it that much. Like, it is really good, and I can't really say more than that because obviously this is the second book in a series, but that plot twist, yes, loved it. I loved it. Every time I think the stakes can't get higher, they get higher, and it really is one of those books where you cannot trust that people are going to live. Like, you know things are going to go wrong and you're just praying and hoping it doesn't happen to the characters that you really love, because yeah. Anyway, that's a really good time. However, I'm going to take a couple of days break. I don't want to, but I don't like reading off of my phone when I'm at home. I really don't like that. This is why I keep contemplating getting a Kindle. I've mentioned this so many times. So for my premium followers that watch every video, I am so sorry, because you must get tired of this argument that comes up in my mind all the time, where it's like, I want to get the Kindle because then I can read the ebooks at home. But then I argue with myself going, but I read physical books when I'm at home. And if I start getting a Kindle, I'm never going to read my physical books. I'm only going to be reading Kindle books. And it's nice to have a break from doing an ebook to a physical book and having that as, if I'm at home I read physically, and if I'm out and about I can read on my ebook. It's a whole thing. However, there will be a gem of a book that comes along like this where all I want to do is read it and I don't want to put it down. And I'm not at work until Friday, but I want to read it now. So that's where I'm at. But I am going to stick to my guns. I'm going to pick this back up on Friday, and then I'm on an early shift across the weekend, so I will definitely get it finished then. It's so good. I'm really enjoying it. Do I want to carry on reading it right now? Yes. But I can't. Instead, right now, what I'm going to do is actually look at my YouTube homepage, as in like my channel homepage, because I recently watched a video, as in recently by like, I finished it. How long's this intro? This is coming up, intro? No, segment. This is coming up 9 minutes, so I finished watching it 10 minutes ago. Gavin did a video all about working as a YouTuber full time, and he had a little segment of things that he would say tips to just work on in general, and one of them is paying more attention to analytics, and to be honest, I haven't really done that. Also, the layout of my YouTube page. So I'm just going to have a quick look at that. I am going out later this afternoon. I'm meeting my dad for lunch, so I want to spend a bit of this morning seeing if I can do anything with that, see if I have any ideas on how I want it to actually lay out, because to be honest, I haven't looked at it since I started this channel, so that's like 3 years ago at this point, and as always, your feedback is always welcome. Then I think I'll start reading a little book, then I'll be going to meet my dad. So that's the plan for today, and tomorrow is a lunch with my partner, so that's going to be good. So the next 2 days are quite nice just to chill, get things done. So I think that's why a short book will be the call, and I do have 2 to choose from. As I've said, I'm now in that territory of repeating myself. So how about we stop doing that? I actually get on with the things that I'm going to do. You're going to see some B-roll, and then I will catch up with you, I don't know when. I'm trying this thing where I don't plan out when I'm going to update and just do it a bit more like, we'll update whenever, which is what happens. But I feel the need to tell you, even though you will see it very shortly. It's not like you're waiting the days between updates. I don't even understand it. Anyway, see you soon. I'm not sure what this was. Let's just go. Okay, I thought I'd show you what I've been working on. This is my channel homepage, so if you click onto it, this is what you see. Why does my camera seem a bit weird there? Anyway, so I have my YouTube banner that I created in Canva. I've got a picture of me, and then we go down into what is on the channel page, and before, all that used to be on here was this, just the videos that I've uploaded in general. What I've now done is add in all of these. So I've got my most popular video, and then I've kind of put in a couple of playlists that I wanted to have on my homepage. This one is TBR videos. This is always really popular each month. It's what generates probably the most new viewers. Plus, I really enjoy making these. I find them really fun. I really enjoy it, and I love seeing other TBR videos. So definitely wanted that on my homepage. And then I decided to put in book recommendations because generally, I mean, we're a booktube community. That's what we're looking for. Those include the anticipated releases for the upcoming months, my most recent, which is Greek mythology recommendations, so things like that. I've also got my best books of 2022. So it's just like any time that I've put together a video that's solely talking about a particular genre of books, doing recommendations, that's going to go in here. And then I've just got a couple of extra playlists which are always a bit more popular. So you've got the book hauls, because we all know I have a spending problem. We've got my weekly vlogs, which are a massive part of my channel, something that I love doing, so that's in there. I can't believe I've got 157 weekly vlogs. That's mad. And then more recently, the 24-hour readathons that I've been doing bi-monthly. But this is what I'm leaving at the minute. Bit of a random one, but I thought I would show you. And then let me know, actually, here's a question for you all. Do you actually look at things like this? I tend to if I'm new to their channel. So it'll be interesting to see whether you do it just when you're subscribing to someone, or if you like to go back to the homepage once you are subscribed. Generally, once I'm subscribed, I just wait for it to come up on my subscriptions list before a new video. So that'd be really interesting. Do you like looking at playlists and stuff? Those are interesting things I've never really thought to look into. It'll be good to see what you think. Anyway, that's the little update. I'm going to spend a bit of time reading. I've got about an hour and 10 minutes to chill. No, longer than that. About an hour and a half to relax. So I'm going to start a book, I think, and just relax. So yeah, I'll catch up with you in a bit. But I just thought, maybe you'll find that interesting, a bit behind the scenes stuff that goes on. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Good afternoon. We have quite a lot of reading updates and a book haul to get through, so let's do this. Starting off with the ebook that I finished. I loved this book. So Children of Fallen Gods, what an ending. I loved it so much. I actually finished it yesterday, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm so tempted just to continue on with it straight away as the next ebook I pick up because it's so good. I loved the ending. The stakes and everything are so high. And the plot twist kept coming. It did not stop. So yeah, I may have to do that because it was so good. It was a fantastic time. And I know that's all I'm saying about it, but that's all I can say. Like, it is the second book in a series and I don't want to give away the ending of that. Stuff happening left, right and centre. It was fantastic. Brilliant ending. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I've been thinking about what ebook should I pick up next, and all I've been thinking is, well, the third one. Obviously. Has to be the third one. And then I have some more reading updates. And these ones are 3 smaller books, nice and easy. So the next book that I finished, The Castle of Orantaro, and this is by Horace Walpole. This was on my TBR for the lowest rated out of my Goodread to read shelf. Like, I have a physical TBR shelf which has the majority of the books that I own on there. And yeah, this was lowest rated, and I can understand why it is. This is considered England's first supernatural novel. This was printed in 1764. It is outdated, you can really see that. So as a modern day reader, I can fully understand why it's lower rated. The way women are portrayed in this isn't the best, but it is for the time that it was written in. It's just very much the women can't handle anything. They have such sensitive sensibilities that, you know, they must swoon at every opportunity. So it's very much like that. For me, that kind of just added to the hilariousness of this book. I found it really funny. Yes, it is meant to be supernatural, but it's so over dramatic that, especially for a modern day reader, it's not scary at all. It's just a funny time. On the other hand, I can really see how this book has influenced a whole genre, how we progressed from here to the gothic, and it was so good for that. Like, I really loved picking up on those little parts, which for me added also to my enjoyment. So I was able to see different ways that this book's inspired others, but also have so much fun with just the drama of it all. So in this one, we're following this prince, and he is obsessed with having a male heir to continue on his line, and something happens to his son, and so then that sets about him deciding to marry this really young princess. It's her then escaping from him in this haunted castle, and yeah, it's just so dramatic. But it was really good, and I think if you look at it at just face value, it's just over dramatic, but if you look past that and you see how much it has influenced, it's a good time. So I enjoyed that one. I then read volume 1 of Children of the Whales, and I liked this one. It's one that I do want to continue on with, but I probably won't be doing anytime soon, but I did enjoy it. This one, we're following a main character who is this, oh, there's an actual word for it, but who writes everything down for this society that lives on the back of a mud whale. We're in a world where there's no more ocean, that's been taken over by sand, but the sand is unstable, so if you try and go out onto it, you end up sinking into it. And so they live on the back of a mud whale, and they believe they're the last of civilization, until they find out that actually there's more people out there. And we also have some people that are marked that can manipulate their energy as a result of being marked, but it means that you don't live past 30. So it's a really interesting concept. I just don't think it's going to be a priority series to continue. It's going to be one that, say I'm in Forbidden Planet and they've got their 3 for 2 on manga on, and I've got 2 volumes that I really want, but I can't decide on the third. I'll probably pick up the third to do with this series. But I think out of all the other series that I'm continuing on, I'd rather continue on with those first. But I am interested. The more I've sat with it, the more I want to know what's going on. Plus, this artwork is absolutely stunning. Like, I really love this artwork. But yeah, so that was a nice little time. And then yesterday evening, I tried to read The Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka, and unfortunately I didn't get far in. This is only a short book, and I got 35 pages in, and this edition has, I think it's just under 90 pages. I can see why it's an important book, because it really questions society, the emphasis that we place on working, being a part of a capitalist society, having others rely on you to be working, having them not concerned about your own health but more concerned about what you can do for others. So I do think it's really important for all of that, because that's all discussed in here. Unfortunately for me, I just could not connect with the main character. I don't know, there was just something about it that I wasn't quite gelling with, and I ended up putting it down. And to be honest, I don't think I would pick it back up. I was very tired last night, which is probably some of the reason why I put it down, but I really don't have any interest in continuing on. Like, I know what it's doing, I know what it's discussing, the themes that it's exploring, and it's doing all of this through this person that's changed into this big bug, and I think that's a really clever way of dealing with it, and I do like a weird book, but just not this one, unfortunately. It's just not working. There's something about the writing style that I'm not quite connecting with. And it's interesting because on my Discord, some people have really enjoyed this and other people really haven't. I can definitely see it being a decisive book like that. But from a literary critic point of view, it does a lot, and I appreciate it for that. I'm reading this for enjoyment, and I'm not enjoying it, so I'm gonna put it down. So that's where all the reading is left with for this week. But before I go, I do have a book haul, and this is left over from my birthday. So it was my birthday last week. Well, actually by the time this video comes out, it's like 2 weeks ago. There are some more books to be had. Now, I mentioned that my mum was getting me 2 more books, that they were in the mail. So she got me The Nesting, which I've already spoken about, and then she also got me The Name of the Rose, and this one is by Umberto Eco. I'm sorry, I'm probably pronounced that incorrectly. This one is an Italian classic, and I'm so excited for this one because it is a medieval mystery but with cult vibes, and all of those words are just like tick tick tick, perfect, I'm gonna love it. So yeah, very excited for this one. We're following Brother William. The year is 1327 and he arrives at a wealthy Italian abbey for business. However, his mission is overshadowed by 7 bizarre deaths. So Brother William turns detective, He collects evidence, deciphers secret symbols and coded manuscripts, and digs into the eerie labyrinth of the Abbey, where extraordinary things are happening under the cover of night. It sounds so fantastic. There are so many buzzwords in this that just sound like it's going to be a great read, and I really want to save this for like autumn winter time. I think it's going to be perfect. The problem that I have with that is I have so many books I am saving for autumn and winter. It's ridiculous, and you'll see that continues in this stack. But yeah, loved this. This was amazing. I'm so happy to have this one on my shelves, so thank you very much, Mum. And then she did not stop there. She also got me The Magician's Daughter, and this is by H.G. Parry, and this is a recent release. It came out earlier this year, and I've been hearing nothing but good things. It's like a almost cozy fantasy, and that's definitely what the synopsis gives me. We're following our main character, Biddy, and she has lived in this tower her whole life. She's cut off from the rest of the world, and she's been living with this magician until one day he doesn't return, and so she goes on a mission to save him. Things go on from there. We have an animal familiar and all sorts of stuff going on. We're really intrigued. Like I say, I've been hearing that it's a proper cozy fantasy. Whether it fits solely into cozy because there's still some stakes going on, I don't know, but it's definitely not a lots of stakes fantasy, which doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's a standalone, and I think it's going to be a cute fun time, so this is really good. Honestly, it was a great mix of books because we got like the thriller, the classic mystery, and then something cozy to lighten it all up. This was perfect. And then my dad also got me some book vouchers for Waterstones, and I also had some points, so it worked out that I was able to get quite a lot of books for nothing because I'd actually saved my points for once, which is a first. The first book I picked up, actually not even the first book, from this pile. I don't know why I'm introducing this. Anyway, Thomas Hardy, Jude the Obscure. I really enjoy Thomas Hardy's works. I've read 2 of his books by now, and I definitely want to read all the rest. This one I've heard is depressing, but it's written by Thomas Hardy, so I'm going to read it. My only gripe with this is the cover, and this is the only edition I can find it in, which is frustrating. I'm excited to give it a try anyway. So yeah, I don't know anything about this one. I don't really need to know. I know that I like Thomas Hardy's writing. He has beautiful ways of describing things, but I also know it's very depressing. So we'll see when I get to that one. I have to be in the mood to be depressed, which doesn't make sense, but there we are. I then have North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. Now this is a much nicer edition. This is the edition I like collecting, which is the English Library. You see the difference? Look how much better. Anyway, I picked this one up because I was told if you like Jane Austen, read this one, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. From that, it's gonna be a really nice summer read, so that should be hopefully read soon, although again, I have lots of books, and whether I get to them this year, next year, who knows. But I also have Villette by Charlotte Bronte, and this is a book that I've been wanting to get for a little while. I love the Bronte sisters. They're some of my favourite classic authors. I've only read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, so it's about time I branched out. Villette is all about a student that falls in love with a professor. Very excited, really want to read it, and in this beautiful English Library edition. So that's that. Then I have 2 vampire books. Starting off with one that should be considered a classic by now, and that's Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. And this one is, like I said, it's a classic. It's a vampire classic. If you like vampire books and you like Dracula and that, and you haven't read this one, so if you're me, well, I need to correct that. So I'm looking forward to this one. I actually saw this, Emmy was talking about this one, and she fell in love with it. And also Bella from Throne of Pages, she was also loving this one, so I feel like if they both really enjoy this, then I need to be reading this. So I finally picked it up. You know, I had the points, why not use it? Very excited. Again, I want to read this one in October time, but like I just said, the TBR for what I want to read during that time is ridiculous. I'm never going to get to all of them, but this is definitely one I want to prioritize, so we'll see. And then the second vampire book, which isn't as high on the priority list for this October, but I do want to get to soon. Again, thinking maybe winter time rather than Halloween. And that's Empire of the Vampire with J. Kristoff. I was very much debating whether to get this book because I didn't enjoy J. Kristoff's other series, which is Nevernight. But I do like his sci-fi series that he writes with Amy Kaufman. So I'm willing to give it another try, plus vampires, and my dad really enjoys this book, and I figured I used the voucher that he bought me for my birthday to get this one, so why not? I do want to read it because it's about vampires, and the way it's written sounds exactly like the way I like my fantasy stories written, which is where we're being told a story from the main character that's given us their life story. Why was that so hard for me to say? Where we're following the main character who tells the reader their life story. I like that. That is a literary technique that always gets to me. I really enjoy it, especially in fantasy. And that's what this one is. We're following, I think it's half human, half vampire, Gabriel, and he's imprisoned by the very monsters he vowed to destroy. And now he's going to tell us his story. So that sounds exactly like what I like, but I'm just put off a little bit by the author, which sounds terrible. But I have heard some really good things about this. So yeah, that's the one I got. So there we go. Lots of book hauls this week again, which is not surprising. Actually, no, it wasn't this week. It was just in general for my birthday. I've had 2 rather large book hauls, but I'm very, very happy with them. So thank you to my mum and my dad for these because it's been great. And yeah, I think reading overall. Okay, did we get Electra done? No, not at all. Did I read any more of that book? No. I think I've still got next week, but at the same time I've decided, you know what, it's a reread. I can still take part in the discussion without rereading it, so let's just take the pressure off. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this weekly vlog. It's now getting really bright because of the sun, so it's definitely a time to go because this lighting's not the best. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these books that I've spoken about, and yeah, I'm gonna go. So I think for today, you know what, we're gonna do something simple. We're gonna do a book stack emoji because it's easy. So if you made it this far, let's put a book stack emoji in the comments below. As I've said, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Those 3 things are really helpful to helping this channel grow. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.